Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to your Facebook page, look us up, or hit see first to see and hear all the great programs that we have here on WNHHLP, and also Cannabis Corner is streaming live on the Greenhaven Media Facebook page and procannabismedia.com. Welcome, everyone. It is Monday, November 3rd. Welcome to Cannabis Corner. I am your host, Joe LaChance, Joe the Weed Guy. I am flying solo right now because Uncle Lou is in a meeting and he will be joining us soon, as will our guest today, the great Lupino from Gene Traders. But I wanted to give a shout out to Gabe from Metatron Home Grow. We had a great event this weekend. I want to thank him for putting that on. I want to thank all the people who showed up. We had Steve from One Hit Wonder there. We had Jits Glass. There was a couple of seed vendors. It was really, really, really nice. A lot of people showed up. I got a little picture to show everybody of it. There's me and Lou. Me and Lou there at the picture. Grand opening. Mikey Martone, who did the photo booth. He's a great guy. He's also a grower. He did all the sound and everything. So that's me and Lou at the event. It was a great time. I want to thank our sponsor Gabe always for supporting and sponsoring this show. He's got two locations, one in Orange and one in Meriden. He is there for all of your grow needs, especially now if you're in the harvest phase. He has the great bags there for curing. And if you're just starting a new grow for the winter indoors, he's got all your nutrients that you might need. Any soil, he's got hydroponic systems, all kinds of things for your growing needs, as well as mycelium. He just started a new project with mycelium where he gives you the entire package ready to go. Spores, everything, medium, and even a container to grow it in. You could check him out up there. You can grow all kinds of mycelium there, psilocybin, lion's mane, blue oyster mushrooms, reishi mushrooms, anything like that. Mushrooms are the new frontier of medicine. So I myself personally use them when I find the need and the desire, and I think that's the next frontier. Mushrooms, in many ways, are a huge part of the ecosystem. Without fungi, a lot of the plants and trees wouldn't grow. It replenishes our soil and also creates kind of a communication network between the different various plants and insects that are in the soil. So it's a great thing to learn about. He is holding a class actually in November on a Tuesday night. I don't know the exact date. I believe it's in 2 weeks, but I will have that information on mycelium at the Orange location. So that ought to be great. So big ups to Gabe. Check him out for all your home grow needs. Now with mycelium packets as well. So speaking of growing and harvest, we have a great event coming up this weekend up in Worcester, Mass, at the DCU Center, and that is the Harvest Cup. The Harvest Cup is kind of a legacy, I would call it a gathering convention. It's a community event. They have a cup there where they judge various categories of flower, concentrates, edibles, mostly Massachusetts and New England based. A lot of people have entered. And it's always a great time up there. They got a lot of great vendors. I know the Healing Rose will be up there. It's always a good time. I think me and Lou might make a pop up there on Saturday. That would be a great thing to take a ride up there to Worcester if you got time. That's at the DCU Center. That is this weekend, and that is the Harvest Cup. You can check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Also, we have the Burn and Learn Leaf Ministry has their Thanksgiving event this Sunday. It's a little early this year, but we wanted to beat the rush. So that ought to be a good time. Bring a potluck. It's a potluck, so bring a dish if you so desire. And there should be a lot of good food. Last year was a great time. It was actually fell on my birthday, so we had an awesome time. But yeah, Burn and Leaf Ministry. They just redid the center up there, so everything's indoors. It's very, very nice. You should go check them out and join. It's a great community to be a member of. And they do events a few nights a week. But this Sunday will be their Thanksgiving event. It's a great time to get together with the community and friends and eat. And I also know that next Sunday, the 16th, I believe, yes, will be Connecticut's Thanksgiving event. So you can find out a little bit more about that by going to Connecticut.com and also, obviously, burnandlearn.com. It's Burn and Learn CT. You follow them on Instagram or Facebook. So those are some cool events. Obviously, the holidays are coming up. We just had Halloween. Had a great Halloween party over at the Burn and Learn Center. Some great contest winners you could check out. All the pictures online. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. I'm enjoying what's going on out there in the community. And even though there's a lot of division, we could say within the in the world, and even within the cannabis community, unfortunately, we still manage to get things done, and we still manage to have a good core group of people who really just love the plant and support the plant. But I did want to mention something that Kibra, Lou, and I are doing, along with Uzma and Devon Ward. This is kind of groundbreaking, and it starts this week, actually. But we are doing a special educational series for the tribe up at Mohegan Sun. And so it's a 7-part series with the cannabis history, the science of cannabis. We have 2 cultivation classes. We have a medical marijuana class and also a class on the cannabis law and cannabis history. And the cannabis history class is the one I will be teaching with Uncle Lou. That is this Wednesday night. It's going to be up at Mohegan. It's a small class, about 15 or 20 people, but they're all tribe members who are now interested in cultivating and getting into the cannabis industry. So I think that's good news, and I feel very honored to be asked by Kibra to be a part of this and participate. As you know, we used to run classes down here in Connecticut, and a few people who are now in the industry were actually some of our students. So, and as you know, I ran the Northeastern Institute of Cannabis in Massachusetts. So we have experience in the education, and I feel it's an honor that the Mohegan tribe asked us to put on this presentation. So it's going to be a 7-week thing. It goes all the way to January. It's every other week. So yeah, Lou and I will be traveling up to the casino this Wednesday to do our first class, which would be the cannabis history class. So that should be a lot of fun. But I'm always interested in just seeing how different communities, because the tribe is its own community. And it's always good to be introducing different and new communities to cannabis and to the industry and bringing them into the fold. Because, as Jack Harris said, hemp can save the planet. And, I'm a firm believer in that. And I know that a lot of other people are, you know. So I think it's great that we're doing that up there at Mohegan, and there's a lot of good things. A couple of good events coming up. They're consumption friendly at Bohemian High this weekend. As you know, the Grove was a place that I actually founded and helped get started with Rich over there at Bohemian High, and we're trying to get it back up and running to do events on a regular basis like we used to before the pandemic. And so there's a couple of great events. There's an open mic on Friday night, so you can come down and sign up if you would like, and if you have talent playing guitar. But it's open mic. You can sing, you can do poetry, whatever you would like to do. But that is this Friday, Friday night at the Grove, and then Saturday night at the Grove they have a paint and sip or paint and puff, whatever you would prefer to do. And as you know, the Grove is always a consumption-friendly venue, so please check it out and support. I plan on doing some cool events down there pretty soon. I was speaking to Mike, actually, Mike Martoni, about doing a glow party down at the Grove. I think that would be an awesome thing, a cannabis-friendly glow party. Maybe have some, some karaoke or something like that down there that night. That would be kind of fun. So yeah, with the holidays coming up, check it out. It's a lot of great things. I'm always looking forward to the events that come up, the Christmas parties and all the various holidays parties. So I'm just waiting for our guests to come on. But real quick, I did want to touch base that tomorrow is election day. And, I think regardless of what your political leanings are, you should go out there and at least vote if your town is holding their mayoral election. And I know that Kristen, our former co-host, is actually getting heavily a little bit more involved in politics, and she is running for a seat on the Planning and Zoning Commission of Middletown. So maybe she can make a difference and get some dispensaries zoned in there. But for me, when I look at a mayoral candidate, I always look at their cannabis policy. I am currently living in Milford, and we have a race between a Republican who is currently the incumbent, who actually, believe it or not, raised taxes over the last 4 years, making it very much more expensive to live in Milford. And he's a Republican, surprisingly enough. And he's going against a gentleman named Rich Smith, who actually was mayor for a short period of time after the former mayor, Ben Blake, retired. He took over for the last few months, and this is when this new guy, Tony G, came in. He is not very cannabis friendly at all. If you notice that Milford has quite a large amount of the smoke shops here, all up and down the post road, and he has been very, very hard on not licensing any new smoke shops at all here in Milford. And even the place that we had set up as the smoking spot in Milford was paved over and replaced by Cane's Chicken. So I certainly, although I don't lean Democrat, I don't lean Republican, I'm an independent voter. For me, whoever has the best cannabis policy is who I'm voting for. And so right now I'm leaning for Rich Smith, at least in my area. But with us now, just joining us, is the one and only, the pioneer of genetics here in the Northeast, but all over the country, Mr. Lou Pino. He laughs about it, but he's been around a long time. Lou and I have known each other for quite a while, as has Lou Vega. And Lou Pino always has a great selection of genetics. Every season he comes out with new ones. He's a fervent gene hunter. He's always looking for new strains. But I want to bring him on. Mr. Pino, how are you today?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
Good. You look like you're hanging out with your plants, or is that a backdrop?
That's just a backdrop.
Okay. So, Gene Traders, how many years have you been around?
Gene Traders, the company itself, in January will hit 10 years.
10 years,
And
long before cannabis was legal, long before cannabis was even medical. You knew right away that it all starts with the seed, right? Without the seed, we got nothing. So, I mean, you have a background in like digital marketing and branding and graphics and things like that. What made you get interested in actually pursuing genetics as a field of interest, as something you would want to pursue as your career, say in the cannabis industry? How long have you been growing for?
so I've been growing for the last like 13 years, 14 years, something like that.
Right.
And a few years into it, I was a caregiver in Rhode Island, and I had patients, but each one needed a different type of genetics in order to deal with the ailments, their illnesses, their pains, all stuff too. So back then, genetics was very difficult to get a hold of. It was more like send a blank money order to this address. Weeks, possibly months will go by. You might not get anything. You might get something. And also on top of that, very, very little information was given about how the plant was grown or potential cannabinoids or terps, all the stuff that we generally we kind of like ask and like have paperwork for today. None of that existed back in the day.
Right. It was Wild West.
Wild West forums, like you're trying to figure out, all right, what do I set my humidity at? What's the temperature I set it at? And you would have to read through like 80 pages of people just arguing with each other or bad answers to try to get an average of what it could be.
So you're
So,
talking the forums. We're
oh
going
yeah,
way
yeah.
back.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's how
So,
you found your information. You had to be a member of a certain forum, a growers forum.
right, right. So, I saw I needed genetics. And I was like, well, I know how to do events, so maybe I'll just do an event and at least I'll have like a whole bunch of genetics that I'll be able to grow for my patients. But it turned out
Right.
I wasn't the only one. Apparently, everyone had the same problem. Everyone needed genetics. It doesn't matter if you're a small two-plant tent grower or 100,000 square feet. Everyone needed genetics, not just because you could end up having stable genetics, but you need new stuff all the time because
Right.
the
That's what
palate
ended up
changes of the
happening. Right.
smokers. Everybody
Right.
like, I don't want to smoke that the rest of my life. I want different flavors.
Yeah.
So new flavors would end up coming out and new trends or new this, new that. So I started, continuing to do the genetic events on the medical side until Massachusetts became legal, and then I started doing it in the recreational side. I went to Michigan, New York, Virginia, Oklahoma, um,
You did a couple in Connecticut early
Connecticut.
on, early on
Oh yeah, I
at the
did.
Oakdale. I remember
Oh
those.
my, yo, that was very ballsy because it was still illegal in Connecticut.
Right.
And I did a genetic event at the Oakdale Theater, like with people traveling from all different countries. That was it was. I was like, so that was the first um, Connecticut cannabis event. Don't let anybody
Yes.
fool
No,
you.
I agree with you. I will agree with you on that.
People like the first competition are like, nah, 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 nah. You're not even close. I did it years ago, but
Right.
whatever. Let people sell their tickets. I don't care.
Well, it's a different
But
industry now.
oh
Lou,
yeah.
you got to, you were, like you said, it wasn't even legal back then. You got your information from forums,
Hmm.
and you had to get together. You had to gather together a group of other genetic, people. And I'm sure it was a lot of work to put together, but you are right. That was actually, I know for a fact, the first one I went to, the first ever organized cannabis event. I mean, we had some stuff with Cindy Day, you remember? Rest in peace,
Right, and
Cindy
like
Day.
normal events and stuff like that
MCT
too. Right,
stuff,
right, right.
but yeah, nothing that actually
You were still
was.
part of. You were ahead of normal back then too, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. I don't forget, man. I remember.
I know those were the days, right? I mean, a lot
Those
of
were the
people.
golden days, the medical golden days. And here's an interesting thing. Tomorrow, Massachusetts could be returning to the medical only.
Yes, I did want to bring that up with you because you seem very on top of that. I touched base with it a little bit with the Mascan people, but
Hmm.
apparently, Sam, this was smart approaches to marijuana, which,
Hmm. Hmm.
as we know, was quite an opponent here in Connecticut as well.
Yep,
Uh,
parading children. Yep, yep, yep.
Yep. And so they're parading the children in front of the hearing. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
remember. I was like,
They put on
wow,
quite a dog and pony show,
wow.
for the legislators here. And I guess they, for some reason, are looking at Massachusetts as a testing ground to see if they can pull this off. And what they're trying to do, I guess, is get a ballot initiative for the 2026 election that
No,
would
no, no.
re
It's there. It's tomorrow.
Oh, they got it. I know they got the signatures.
They got the ballot initiative. It's on there.
It'll be tomorrow they're voting on it.
It should be tomorrow, as far as I know.
And so that would repeal the legal industry, correct?
So, all right. So, obviously, and my boy, Turk Matters out of Mass, gave made a good point about this, right? Like, it's going to end up getting rid of recreational and doing medical only. You will still be able to grow. It will still be decriminalized. It's actually going to go. It's going to end up actually taking away charges for underage, specifically dealing with teenagers, which is the main thing. How they've been actually trying to get the signatures and shit. So the whole thing is very interesting, right? Because as it was, if I remember correctly, out of 47 ballot initiatives, 42 got approved, and one of them ended up being the rollback for rec. So it'll still be medical, and you still be able to make medical cards and medical caregivers, and you still be recreational as a full adult, be able to grow your plants. You just won't have rec sales anymore. And from what I know, I'm not fully obviously, but most of the Massachusetts legal is mainly corporate or subsidized by corporate. Like a lot, like it's a good like 80% of them.
Yes, that's true. There is a lot of corporate influence up there in Mass, and
Right.
obviously, as we know, they have an oversupply. See, they have a problem now with too much supply,
And why is
not enough
that? Why is that?
over licensing.
Oh, not over licensing, but giving to these corporate grows. They're doing is they're growing for weight, right? And this
Hmm.
is something that most people don't know, but for the last 4 to 5 years, a lot of big corporation companies like business plan is to flood the market with cheap cannabis in order to put small and medium sized businesses out of business.
Or to be able to buy them up, right?
Right, buy them up, and or not just that too, but forced to put them out of business in the method of, and mind you, this isn't like something that I'm making up. They've literally been caught on camera in their own business meetings talking about, oh, we always tend to get flour from a smaller business because their margins are so tight that if we don't pay them every like 60, 90 days, more than likely they're going to end up going out of business, and then now we don't have to pay them. Oh, it's in
Oh.
their business plan, written down, signed for.
Because I've heard that's a big problem in Mass is unpaid, a lot of unpaid invoices.
Right. So this is why they're doing it. They're flooding the market. Not everyone. They're flooding the market with cheap cannabis, and then they're not paying small farm like that, so they can end up going out of business, right? Because remember, to
Yeah,
do a
because they get
harvest,
it
what
on
is it?
credit, right?
Huh?
They get it on 60 or 90, right? Day
Right,
credit.
right, right. So and just think about it, right? Like if margins are very tight and I'm a small grower and my electric bill and my staff, I can't afford not to be paid for a harvest. That's going to put me within 1 or 2 harvests. I'm going to be out of business
Right.
because I can't even pay myself, my staff, my bills, the constant predatory practices with the electrical company, with the real estate, with the plumbing, with everyone deal that's ancillary businesses for cannabis. Almost all of them are predatory practices.
They raise the prices once they find out it's cannabis.
100%. It's
I
no
was
different than
reading
like
just an article about that the other day.
it's no different than like if you like you want to rent a venue to hold a 50-year anniversary, right? And people or a Thanksgiving or nonprofit, anything, right? It's one low price. But the second you say it's a wedding, it triples.
Ah, so it's the same
It's
with
the
cannabis.
same thing with cannabis. It's 100% predatory, and the government is backing it so much so that they continue to raise taxes. The government is another predatory organization that continues to make the legal industry fail, falter, and forces small to medium sized businesses and also large businesses to do things that are against the law or against regulations, putting them in a corner because it's almost like piranhas, you know. They see that they just keep taking chunks and chunks, and it is so. I'm for rolling back recreational because most of the system is predatory. Very few like states have gotten it sort of right, but not really right.
What would you say? Would you say Maine is pretty decent?
So Maine is talking about following suit to Massachusetts and rolling back
I
recreational
did
too.
read that as well. I'm dabbing that.
Listen,
That's
I'm
why I
telling you,
said Sam was using this as a test.
right. And so this is what we're doing. We know Sam's stupid plan. And we also know that the system is predatory.
Right.
So we'll just support it. Support it,
That's
medical
true.
only.
Because of what we do, it doesn't,
The
right?
taxes are lower, right? Now you're really talking about medical stuff. You're getting rid of a lot of corporations because they don't want to end up, they want to be able to like free market, do whatever they want, right? And they just end up going to another state. It'll solve a good amount of issues going back because they'll be like, oh no, we can fix it. Okay, name one thing that over time has gotten fixed with government.
Not one thing. Look at what's going on right now.
With anything, they're like, oh, we gotta get a study, right? That's another like 100 grand
Oh, yeah,
in
the
two
study is
years.
1 year,
We
right? You
gotta
got to
get
take 2 years.
professionals to like testify. We gotta do this. They spend so much money trying to fix something that could end up being fixed with like a few words. Oh well, it's like, look, he's like, all you're doing is wasting time and money. And by the time, like, we see it all the time, right? Like it happens. We see it all the time. Somebody works to, activism and change regulations and change laws, and so much time passes that we've even seen it, even trying to pass medical, that people have given testimonies end up passing away before the law even gets passed.
Yeah.
Slater Center, Thomas Slater,
Cindy
the
Day.
the Slater Center. If he was alive today, the Slater Center in Rhode Island,
I
right, the
remember
medical
they were one
entity
of the
would be
first.
such a disappointment to him.
Mm.
Such a disappointment to him because of the massive predatory practices. They remember in Rhode Island for a long time, it was only 3 dispensaries in the
Yep.
entire
I
state.
remember that. Yeah.
Super monopoly, super, and the growers pay the biggest price because they're at the mercy of whatever they want to pay. There's just entirely too much corruption, too much bribery, too much pay to play. We don't have like me and you remember we didn't have lobbyist money, so we
No.
had to go to the state capitol. We
Yeah,
were
we
the
did.
lobbyists,
There was
unpaid
no
lobbyists.
lobby. Because of our work, a lobby was created. You remember the first couple of years, there was no lobby to fight. We just had to convince them to even start looking at it. Once we did, I really believe the turning point was getting medical in,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then obviously the medical growers formed the lobby. And then this is what happened. So I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways, we as the original OG activists didn't have a lobby to fight. We just had to we had no money. We just had to get our boots to the ground.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and it was not only getting the legislators to even start looking at it, it was getting the public to accept it,
Oh
right?
yeah, we shut down
We
a few bills. You remember? They were like, "Please
yeah.
don't turn this down." The bill was like, "No, we don't like it. Shut it down."
Yep.
It was just 7 of us, and we were shutting down the governor, shutting down anybody else. We like this is when I really knew, right? I was like, "All right, wait a minute. This is how I really understood." It's like wait a minute, activists are just unpaid lobbyists. It's the same
Yep.
thing. They're just unpaid.
Yep.
That's it. And there's more of us, and we have time. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. And we did it. We did
Until
it.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
state proceeded, they did their thing. As far as I'm concerned, even though in the end we had to make some compromises.
Which I was not for.
No, me
I was
neither.
not for the lottery system. The
Uh,
second anybody mentioned, I was like, "This is a bad idea,
yeah. And then, of
horrible idea."
course, all the
Anytime the
stuff that
government has a lottery, it doesn't work out well.
exactly. And then,
So,
of course, all the stuff we had no control over, the taxation, the THC
yeah, that
levels,
sucked. Like,
all
oh yeah, we'll
that.
take your bill, but we're gonna up the price a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, they added all that. The lottery, they changed it midway. It was supposed to be one entry per person, and then it turned to two, and then unlimited. I mean, it was anybody who had their eyes open during that
Hmm.
whole process could see what was going on, but we could do nothing about it. And I, and
Nothing.
and that was the most frustrating part of it all. It's like, don't you see why he made it unlimited? Don't you see? So big corporations can buy up hundreds of them at a time, at
Oh
five hundred
yeah,
dollars a
yeah.
pop.
Just on that application, I think they made a little over $18 million
Right. And now
that
you
they just
see,
pocketed.
yeah. You know what's funny? They took in all that money. They took in a lot, the $3 million from the social equity, all the money from the lottery. They took in a ton of money, and where did it all go? Where are
General
our
fund, right?
communities better right now? No. There's corruption, like you said, it's corruption all over. Even in distributing the money
Oh
out to the
yeah.
communities, the social equity committee took liberties with that money and overspent and lavishly spent.
I haven't seen one social equity organization in a single state do the right thing.
No, even the money they did distribute, now they're being investigated by the feds because it turns out it was all nepotism.
There you
All
go.
giving it to their
See?
friends and cousins and family and
Yup.
people who grease the wheel. And
Yup.
the worst part about it, Devon, not Devon, I'm sorry, McCrory should be hiding his head in the sand right now. But he is out there in the public like he did nothing wrong.
Oh yeah. A
On
lot of them do that. And then they become part of some massive kind of corporation and get their cut.
Yeah, because
It's
I
common
mean,
practice at this point.
for me, I'm looking at this investigation that the feds are supposedly doing, and I'm seeing it go nowhere. I'm not hearing any updates about it. I don't know what's going on, and from the scuttlebutt I'm hearing is that it's gonna go away.
Yeah,
He's
sure. He's got, the hookups and blah 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 and this and that and you know how the there's two parts that I came to kind of like, this kind of like a bit of an aha moment, but massively sad at the same time.
right,
The first one is, what did we expect to really like? The cannabis is special, but what did we expect making it part of the American financial industry or business industry?
right,
Like, we wasn't going to be separate, we'll be part of it, and we already know how it's like. And the second part is, and this ends up being about what's actually happening now with the massive failure of a lot of states,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
crashing, the price per unit has dropped drastically. Dealing with genetics, dealing with a lot, everything has like gone down so badly
since it
that
became legal.
since it became legal. So listen to this, and the one thing that we have always fought us to free the plant, that everyone has
Yes,
access to the plant, that everyone has access to the flower,
that's
that
all we
everyone has
wanted.
access to this medicine. What if we cross that line and this is what it looks like?
Yeah, yeah. This is what they right. We're
Did
seeing. Did we free the plant? No. We did in certain ways. We might have took a couple of cuts off, but there's still a lot of chains on that plant
right?
because in a lot of ways it's more regulated overregulated than it was.
Well, I mean, like access to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like anybody can grow their own right now. Most states, right? You can grow your own. You don't
Well,
have to
so
worry
that was
about
a
the market.
chain we took off.
Right.
Great.
And like getting weed now is incredibly easy,
Any
cheap.
That was a chain we took off. We got it
Right.
dispensaries open. Now, what we're dealing with is a problem of quality.
Right. But that comes that has to deal again with the production, right? The big there should honestly you shouldn't have a you should not have like a room 20 30 plants 20 30 lights at most,
Right.
because quality goes down after that. It becomes very difficult
I
to
would
do a
think
100
the
lighter.
larger the room, right?
It makes it difficult to keep the same quality because you don't have the same amount of care. So people are impressed by these grows as far as the eye can see, and all I see is mids, medium quality flower as
Yep.
far as the eye can see.
Yep. No
That's
cure
why
on it whatsoever.
Blue Dream is the number one seller. Did you know that?
Really. And I had something the other day. I was on the air. Actually, I smoked it with Bobby Nuggs. It was supposed to be soap. Right? My
Right.
God, it did not taste like it at all because Zope has
Mm.
a unique flavor. It
I
didn't
like soap.
smell
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, I do too. And it was nothing like it. It was a pre-roll. I think, who did it come from?
Yeesh. I don't like pre rolls.
Rodeo, maybe? Yeah, Rodeo. And so, I mean, look, yeah, I know. You never know what they're putting in pre-rolls, but it
You
was
can't, you don't know that they grinding it up. Most of it ends up being floor scraps. It's kind of like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, right? It's the bottom of the barrel. Those are pre rolls or stuff that's really old or stuff that got, sprayed and then radiated. You hide it in a pre roll.
right.
That's why they're so cheap. They're like, oh, the number one seller is pre rolls. Like, yeah, because you can hide how much you messed up.
I
Not
wanted
everyone,
to,
not everyone, but it's an
right.
easy way to hide your stuff.
I agree. And unfortunately, I speak to Cody, the delivery guy, and a couple other people who work at dispensaries, and pre-rolls are the number one seller.
Yeah, it's the new nickel bag. It's
Yeah.
cheap, it's easy, boom boom, and you're out. But anytime anybody's ever handed me or a pre roll, like 97% of them are bad.
Yeah. Unless you're
Like,
getting it in the gray market.
right.
And usually it's
And that's
late.
about freshness, right?
Right.
Which another problem with the recreational side, the regulations and all that stuff keep it delay it too long that by the time it gets on the shelf, it's no longer top shelf.
It's not
Top
fresh
shelf,
anymore.
yeah, top shelf is within the first, in my opinion, the first 3 months of harvest. If
Right.
not that, after that, you got to keep it in cold cure, cold storage, which most dispensaries don't do.
No.
It might be environmental control, but you like cold cure is talking about nitrogen and low humidity. Do you know of a place that actually has that?
No.
A full so that means that all that flour before, mind you, it's already been past 3 months before it even gets to the dispensary. And then it
Right.
sits in the dispensary at room temperature
In a vault. Right.
in a vault. Like I'm like, no, this is, and so the quality goes down. So the the black market, the streets, the homie will always have, not always, will more, it's easier to have for them top shelf and a local place not.
Yeah. Very
I'm talking
true.
about like a fine line of individuals have top shelf in a dispensary, and it's simply because they're able to get it from the harvest to the retail store much quicker within those first 3 months. Most
And
people smoke tier two to tier threes.
yeah, I would say really the only people who have that advantage are the vertically integrated ones. And right now, there's really only one.
Yeah, but the state slows you down with approval.
Right.
That's the
Right.
problem, right? So they gotta wait for the state to say okay, and then they can end up doing it. But
Right.
until then, it's just sitting there.
Yeah. And so these are all the things that we dealt with. So did we free the plant? Yes, and of course we got the limited selection now too. I mean, there
Mm.
you I do compare it to
Mm.
Massachusetts a lot. We know that has a problem, but if I walk into a dispensary in Massachusetts, I am hit bombarded with all these different brands, all
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
different
Hmm.
strains. I can get them in a pre roll, I can get them in a concentrate, I can get them in a vape pen, I can get them anyway. They're not in generic white packaging. They're branded, there's names and faces you might know, recognize behind the brands. In that way, I think they have a better selection and a better market up there as far as the legal.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
like we were talking, there's just so many dispensaries and there's so many products out there. Then now we're seeing dispensaries close and we're seeing companies go out of business because there's too many.
There's too many, right? There's no control. And the government loves, they don't care. They're still getting their money. Oh, you out? Oh, another one coming in your place. Oh, you out? Another one coming in place. There's no real care for what, how great it could be, you know?
Right. You
And
know,
because of that, why continue trying to fix it? Why? I don't. You can't
you
give
make
me
a
a
good
good
point.
reason as to why. Besides, people lose. The only thing that I can say the negative, like, is that people will end up losing their jobs, which I don't want them to do. But what are we supposed to do? Try to struggle on to keep your job until ultimately we got no choice. That we're millions of dollars in debt that we have to close down anyway. You're not
Well,
gonna. Oh, maybe the government will fix it. We can talk to the government. They'll fix it. They'll fix it. Yeah, when 5 years from now, after you've
yeah,
already gone out of business. They're too
yeah.
slow. But
So
hey,
there is a small movement within the activist community
hmm,
to bring back the Connecticut recreation. Do you support that and bring it back to medical?
bring it back to medical.
Yeah. There's a contingency of activists here in Connecticut who would really like to see the recreational program rescinded and go back to
I guess
medical.
I haven't really paid attention, but
Keep the home grow
how good is
rights,
the
that
medical
stuff like
program
that.
now? How good
Medical
is the
program
medical
is
program?
terrible now. It's because they're focusing all their energies on the adult use market. So the medical products, I was talking to the medical program was much better back in 2015, 2016 before it all became legal.
Yeah, but it
Um,
was the thing about the medical. I remember the medical program is that was it like three, four companies, the four companies that controlled everything, the big four
mhm.
that still kind of control everything now.
Yeah, there's still not that many new cultivators open. I know they
Right,
just Shangri-La just opened one in Stratford last week.
right.
Rodeo opened.
They're not making it easy. The
No.
state is not making it easy to open up new grows, and I wonder why.
Well, because they're being paid off by lobbyists.
Allegedly, we can't say,
Allegedly being paid off by, and this is why I'm very disappointed in this investigation. I was really hoping that it would open up some of this corruption that we know from firsthand experience has been happening from the beginning. Or
Hmm.
from, like you say, once the lobby became formed.
Oh yeah, I think
Uh,
it's the same. Is it the same lady still the lobbyist?
oh, what was her name? That blonde lady, Judith,
Yeah,
was it? Oh
she
my!
represents like the alcohol, all kinds of
Oh,
insurance, like a
she's
lot of people in the state.
and
Big
she's a
money,
shark. She's just, and this is why you were talking earlier that activists are just unpaid lobbyists.
100.
Well,
percent
the funny thing is, I don't see a ton of activists, like real heart, activists like us, me, you, even wanting to become a lobbyist. Do you know what I mean? Because it's such a dirty, you have to really be a dirtbag to be a lobbyist. I hate to say it, but I have not
Yeah, yeah.
seen a single one of our, at least, crew jump to the other side and become a lobbyist. Even though we have the skills, we obviously have the abilities to do it.
Because we don't see it as just a job, and we have too much of a, I guess, a bit of a conscience about shit.
Right.
Like
That's the
that
thing.
we don't want to just take money. Not all money is good money.
No.
That's something that we know very. Not all money is good money. It really is not.
Well, that's the controversy about even taking money from them to sponsor events and things like that.
Hmm.
Once
Right,
you start doing that, you have to kind of bend by their rules, and they
Listen,
do put restrictions on you if they decide to come in and, let's say, buy a table or sponsor, have an information table at one of your events. They
mhm.
try to put restrictions on you.
Oh yeah, listen, I've had states, multiple states put out memos to their
Right,
like
you're right.
about
That's
me
right. You run
specifically.
events in other states. I wanted to ask you a little bit about what do you see as the differences? Like, of all the states you work with, I know you said Michigan is a big one, right?
Mhm.
And Illinois, right? You've done something in Illinois
No,
before.
I haven't done anything in Illinois. I
Maryland, though,
wanted to,
right?
but a lot of them come over because they're next door. It's like you know
What's the best one to do business with? Who has given you the least problems? Let's put it that way.
to what to do an event?
Yeah,
Nobody.
nobody. Okay.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I have lawyers, right? Because of the legalization that the movement that we ended up doing to legalize in Connecticut. I learned the legal system, and I learned how things like everybody's been freaking out about the intoxicating hemp for that they're trying to push with the budget bill and all that stuff now, right?
Right.
and and I was like, well, it doesn't matter. The rules were already written out to federally change intoxicating hemp.
Right.
They were going to implement them in like June or July, and at the last second, it said we're going to push it back a year, and not just that too, but it said potentially another 3 years after Trump ends up being. And the main reason ends up being is because the main states that are massively benefiting from THCA are Republican states. The
Right.
main ones: Kentucky, North Carolina, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, like are crushing it. So, with was it Friday or Thursday? Mitch McConnell, senator from Kentucky, and if you look at
Big hemp
Kentucky,
state. Big hemp state.
Bingham State, Curaleaf headquarters there, True Leaf headquarters there. I think Crestwell like that too because they're pumping out so much THCA. Now that you see that, they're going to end up having infused drinks in Circle K,
Yep. Yep.
and they're talking about Target too as well.
Yeah, I did see that.
So, how are they able to do that, right? But if they change the intoxicating hemp, well, that's going to end up shutting off a lot of money for them. You see sometimes promotions on social media. THCA flower, blah 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 blah,
Oh yeah, all the
anti all
time.
this stuff. Like they're making a lot of money out of it, and it's federally legal, so technically they can internationally export too as well. So I was like,
Mm.
there's no way they're going to end up shutting that down. And I know that 39 attorney generals ended up signing the blah blah blah, which most of them I will have to say are from Democratic states,
Right.
right? That are like, oh, you can't sell. So when one state ends up saying you can't sell THCA, right? They're banning it within that state. They can only affect their hemp producers, their hemp growers,
Right.
nobody else. It's federally legal. You can just order it online from another state because it's federally legal. They cannot stop interstate commerce. So
Well,
when
we
they
ran
end
into
up
that in Connecticut, right?
right. So when they end up making it illegal in that state, all they're doing is hurting their hemp farmers because now they can't be federally competitive.
Right. Well, this is what happened in
Tons of
Connecticut.
money, tons of jobs lost because of, excuse my saying so, stupidity.
Yeah.
Not looking at how the active market and all they're looking for, right, is to make it illegal so they can arrest more people or have more restrictions or more fines and continue to get more money out of it. It's
Right.
not for the benefit of hemp growers.
No,
It's
not
not
at
for the
all.
benefit of the public because again, you can order it online. You can go to, matter of fact, I have a homie that I'm partnering up with that's going to be selling GT THCA
Right.
legally. You can order it anywhere. I'm not going to grow it or process it in Connecticut. It's going to be grown and processed in one of the legal states and then be able to send federally post the mail, like the post office registered officially. So it goes right through legally.
Right.
And you want to restrict your farmers and you want to tell your processors they can't? That is your fault. You're losing those jobs. You're putting your those farmers are no longer federally competitive. That is
No, we
one big
lost
mess
so
up.
many hemp farmers because of the way they gerrymandered the regulations over the past 5 years. It started out great, but every year they're taking away more and more and more and regulating it more. They've done worse with hemp, I swear, than they have with the cannabis.
Which is
They really
crazy.
have. Which is crazy because it did pretty
Crazy, dude.
bad with the cannabis.
And the thing about it is that they haven't even gotten. So I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of genetic research on specifically for the fiber, right? The fiber that can end up that hempcrete is already an approved American Builder
Right,
Association that you can end
right,
up using to build houses, right? They've got 3D printers that you can end up doing hempcrete with. They've even got they're starting to roll out 4x8 sheets like plywood that you could just drill and it'll be on the shell of the house to make your house freaking heat fire retardant, right?
right,
And rather than leaning on that and really try to get some production companies to really pump out these products, they're just talking about restricting intoxicating hemp.
right.
Because
It's
and
ridiculous.
and ask yourself, why are they doing that? Why does the state care? Well, the big canna corporations are complaining, they're having the lobbyists complain, oh, this is why the sales are low, this is why they're doing this is why they're doing that, blah 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 blah. The black market, the black market, the black market. And let's put it out there. A lot of these corporate canna companies are also part of the black market. They've
Yep.
been caught. FBI has done tons of investigations. This is nothing new. I'm not making this up. This is all very factual things that I'm saying. Not even factual, facts that I'm actually saying. They are pumping stuff out the back door and then turning around telling the government the black market is evil. Only trust us.
Right. Go after the smoke shops.
Really?
Yeah.
And
It's
what do I do?
ridiculous, Lou.
I try my best to try to let everybody know and try to let the truth go out there. And I'm silenced quite often. My page gets deleted. I get suspended because I have to be careful what I say.
Yep, yep, you and me both. You and me both. I
Well, I'm
I
tired of
I
it.
do very little online anymore
You can't. How much?
because of that.
I can't show a plant. Do you see this background like that too? This background will get taken down because if I put it like that too, the video will get taken down.
No, not from
Whatever I'm
here.
saying, all educational stuff, or telling you about a new bill or a new movement that's happening or something that's going to restrict you like that too. I get restricted all the time, so I'm
Yeah,
tired of
no,
it.
I've been shut down twice in the past 2 months. And I appeal and they let me back on. But listen, we're almost out of time, bro. So I know this is great, always great. This is why I love having you on. Always educational, always informative. We didn't even talk that much about genetics, but that's all right. How do people get in touch with you, Lou, so they can get some genetics for their next grow? And give us your next couple of events, real quick.
So at Gene Traders on all platforms. We'll be in Michigan November 23rd. For It's going to be dealing with like washing genetics, so things that actually make good hash. And we're going to have like a hash taste testing too as well, which is going to be dope in Detroit. They got amazing hash. They really do. Michigan's got really good hash.
We can't even sell
Um,
it here in Connecticut in our dispensaries.
yeah, and then but I'm starting a podcast. It's
Oh,
going to be
nice.
It's gonna be called On Air Smoke, and I'm gonna feature it on the website onairsmoke.world, and that way I can say whatever I can really free my voice. Now we will upload it to YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, but those are gonna be edited because if not, they'll be taken down. So
Right.
if you want the fully unedited version, you go to the website and you end up signing up and you end up like so we'll be able to like show plants where we're going to be taking field trips to new and innovative hash makers when we visit gardens, when we talk to growers, be doing interviews, like really I'll be out in the world and be able to talk about it unfiltered, anything that we want without having to worry about someone taking us down.
All right, so that's onairsmoke.world. Let me know if you ever need a guest. I'd love to come out and
Of
hang out
course,
with you.
man.
And
Listen, you come in, we'll do some Moon Studio. It's so much fun, bro.
I
We'll
love it.
have
You know
blast.
me. That's my life. I love talking on the air.
We'll have a
Anyway,
blast,
listen.
dude. We'll have a blast. We'll talk about all kinds. Dude, I just learned about this guy called Carl Bushby. You ever heard about him?
No.
Dude, the dude is He's been walking for the last 26 years.
Oh, I heard about him, but I'm getting the note. I got to say
All right, all right,
goodbye.
all right.
Hey, Goodbye, everybody. Harry, you can hit the music. Lou, always a pleasure. We'll have you on again soon. And it's always great talking to you. We hope to see you out there and about. Great luck with your events and the new podcast. That's Gene Traders on all platforms. Thanks again, Lou.
Peace, brother.
Follow me at Joe the Weed Guy or at Greenhaven Media. Like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word. We'll see you this weekend up at the Harvest Cup. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to Metatron Home Grow. And we will see you next week.